Hi, this is Andy Bryant with the National Weather Service in Portland, Oregon, and I'm joined hanging out on the monitor by Sally Salmon and also by one of our meteorologists, Yanny McCoy. Welcome, Yanny.
Thanks, it's Laurel.
Right, that's what I said, yeah. So, Yanny, we're dealing with some high water this week on the Columbia River. Here in Vancouver, the river level is just above flood stage. But people look outside and they say, it hasn't rained for days hardly. How are we having flooding? So, Yanny, can you tell us where is this water coming from?
So, again, it's Laurel McCoy.
Right, yep, that's what I said.
The water's coming from those places up in Montana, Eastern Washington, British Columbia. All that snow that's been up there is starting to melt now that we're getting into spring and we're really starting to warm up. So all that water's going into the rivers and it's finally making it here to the Columbia River. Right,
so that water travels a long distance to get here, and friends like Sally Salmon are waiting for that water to show up. Now, when we have the river at flood stage, Yanny, what does that mean? What kind of river impacts do we see along the Columbia River? What can you tell us about that, Yanny?
So, again, it's Laurel, and those the higher river levels really start to impact those little parks and places right along the river. It'll impact Sauvie Island a little bit, but it also impacts those wood piles in the rivers and it impacts the fish too,
right?
Like Sally Salmon.
So, it's not one of those things where the whole city is impacted, but definitely right along the river, the trails, parks, certainly impacts for boaters. If you're a fish trying to swim upstream, it's going to be a little harder than usual because that water is flowing fast and cold. And so we have the flooding right now. It got just above flood stage last night, and then it seems to have dropped just below. It's going to be hanging around. But, Yanny, is this something that's just going to last for a couple of days, or are we expecting this to continue for several days?
Well, it's Laurel.
Right, and, Yanny, like I said.
And it's going to last for several days. Those river levels are going to stay up right around flood stage through early next week, maybe even mid to late next week. So this is going to be a concern for a little while.
Well, thanks for joining us on this briefing about the Columbia River with myself, Andy Bryant, Sally Salmon, and our meteorologist, Laurel McCoy.
It's Yanny.
Right, like I said.